Okay, so there's a video that I think I want to go through. Oh, y'all can't hear this. Okay. Let me redo this. Share screen.
Hard, you probably don't have enough time.
This guy's annoying. I don't know what he's doing on there.
When I was young, I always felt like I was being judged. At the age of 7, I had developed a severe stutter, and I feared that I might not be as smart as the other kids in my class. In school, I had one all-consuming goal.
Y'all can hear that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Don't look stupid. In my head, I'd always be thinking, what are the chances that I'm going to stutter and look stupid in this situation? If the chances were high, then I would do anything I could to avoid that situation. It wasn't until I read the book Mindset by Carol Dweck that I really understood my constant fear of judgment. In the book Mindset, author and renowned psychologist Carol Dweck explains that the constant fear of judgment and the need to avoid looking stupid stems from a core belief people have about themselves and everyone around them. That belief is everyone has a set amount of intelligence. From that belief, the logic goes, if I only have a fixed amount of intelligence, and if I start making mistakes and look stupid doing something, then I must not have very much intelligence. Dweck calls this underlying belief a fixed mindset.
Oh my
If you have a
God.
fixed mindset, you essentially believe you've been dealt a hand of cards in the poker game of life, and you're stuck with those cards. If you happen to get good grades in school, and your parents praise you for it, then you might start to believe you've been dealt a royal flush. But as you get older and face competition in school, make mistakes on tests, and encounter challenging situations, you start fearing that the hand you've been dealt really isn't that good. To maintain the illusion that you're still smart and special and talented, you avoid doing anything that you might look bad at, and you simply lose interest and stop trying. Because if you show that you don't care and you're not really trying, then people can't really judge your full ability. Author Carol Dweck has seen this pattern emerge over and over again in her research. In one study, she gave 5th graders a group of puzzles to solve. Each of the puzzles was within their current puzzle-solving ability, and all the kids loved them. But when she increased the difficulty of the puzzles, the children who had been praised for their puzzle-solving ability and developed the belief that they were gifted showed a steep decline in interest and effort as the puzzles got harder. However, Dweck found that there was another group of children who didn't shy away from the puzzles once they got harder. When Carol asked them why, they said the puzzles were an opportunity for them to get smarter. These kids took the initiative and asked Carol Dweck if she could write down the names of some of the puzzles so their mom could buy more when they got home. These kids had what Carol Dweck calls a growth mindset. Growth mindset people don't believe talent and intelligence is a gift. They believe you have to work for it. A person with a growth mindset firmly believes that with the right strategy and enough effort and time, they can get better at anything. A growth mindset person believes they're always getting smarter, so they're less afraid of being labeled stupid. They know that even if they've been dealt a bad hand in the poker game of life, they can continue to draw more cards by putting in more effort and finding better strategies until they eventually have a great hand of cards. Now, this growth mindset seems inspiring. It seems cool to be able to grow our intelligence, but is it actually true? Well, 40 years ago, the answer would be no. Scientists at the time thought you could grow a little, but you were largely constrained by the default wiring of your brain. But recent science shows that they were mistaken. Based on other books I've read over the years, I've learned 3 amazing ways you can change your brain. Regardless of how old you are, you can physically grow your brain, you can speed up the circuits in your brain, and you can rewire your brain for increased performance and intelligence on specific tasks. Several years ago, before taxi drivers used GPS to get around, brain researchers took brain imaging scans of experienced London taxi drivers. Researchers noticed that the more time a London taxi driver had spent driving a taxi in London, the larger a region of the brain associated with spatial awareness and memory, the hippocampus, had become. It was apparent that the more demands the taxi drivers put on their brains, the more they had to navigate the challenging road system of London, the more neurons they were able to grow in an area of the brain that they needed to complete their job. But not all brain regions can expand in size. So, other brain regions just make circuits faster. This is done by the process of myelination. As I briefly touched on in my deep work book summary, when you focus intensely on a single subject for a period of time, you start forming white sheaths on your brain cells called myelin. This myelin acts like insulation on an electric circuit. A brain circuit with myelin can transmit information up to 10 times faster than a brain circuit without myelin. After you've added as much myelin as you can to brain cells, you can then increase the capacity of your brain by rewiring it so it activates neighboring brain regions to assist with certain tasks. You can think of this like rewiring a house, so that when you hit a switch to turn on one light, you actually turn on 2 or 3 additional lights nearby. One study showed that when a person practices guitar for hundreds of hours and uses their fingers in their left hand to play the different notes on the strings of the guitar, they light up regions of their brain associated with the left fingers, no surprise. But they also light up regions of the brain associated with the palm of the left hand. When researchers took brain scans of novice guitar players, only the fingers in the left hand were activated in the brain. It turns out that guitar players who had put in hundreds of hours of practice were able to activate more of their brain so they could play the guitar with more speed and accuracy. Now that I know that I can grow my brain's capacity, I think about challenges in a new way. Before I go into a challenge, I stop thinking, will I look smart or stupid while doing this? And start thinking, what can I learn? After a difficult challenge and a series of mistakes, I stop thinking, I'm not smart enough to do this, and start thinking, I'm not smart enough to do this yet. Now that I've changed my core belief to everyone can grow their cognitive abilities, I am less afraid of being stupid because I know I am continuously getting smarter. Even if I look stupid now, I won't look stupid very long if I apply enough effort and the right strategies. I now have the courage and confidence to go into challenging situations because those situations will allow me to upgrade my brain and learn the skills to overcome future challenges. That was the core message that I gathered from Mindset by author Carol Dweck. Reading this book will set you on the path to becoming an infinite learner. I highly recommend it.
Okay. Has anybody hear of the fixed versus growth mindset before? Is anybody familiar with it?
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. Like they said, there's a lot of research that's been done about it, like pretty recently.
No, I've just been doing, I think most people, especially me being older, I think we've been doing that most of my life, because everything is like, I change jobs, I learn a skill, I have to function, have to change you have to do it all. Now I'm a paralegal, so I'm doing it again, so I've been doing it most of my life.
Yeah. Anybody have any comments on anything they think about, like the growth versus fixed mindset? Why would I show it in this class, I guess is a good question.
I believe so that way each of us can push past our limiting beliefs that we have about the content. Like myself, I mean, like with the geometry that we just went, my wife herself, she's a college educated woman, and she helped me a lot, with some of these problems that I was just like getting, like I just got frustrated, almost wanted to give up at some points. So I think that video just goes to show that if you have that limiting belief about yourself, then of course you're right. But if you believe you can't do it and get past any obstacle, then you can do that as well.
Yeah, like I see that a lot of times. Students will doom themselves off the get-go. Like they believe they can't do it, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe you can't, and you have a bad attitude about it, you're probably not going to, right? So I think, yeah, like the attitude you take when you approach something has a lot to do with how successful you are, kind of, right? But also it is a sort of outlook on how you outlook things, right? It's kind of hard to describe, but it's like whether you look at something as being a challenge or whether you look at something as being an evaluation of your being, right? I think is what it is. And it's more healthy to look at things as being a challenge, as being an obstacle to overcome. With that said, sometimes it's a lot easier, and privilege and things like that probably come into play. And I don't think she's denying that in her philosophy, right? I think those things still come into play, but still the way that you look at things is going to influence what you take from it, right? What you learn from it. The other thing I would say is like there's no such thing as math people, right? People are always like, you're a math like, bruh, I graduated in 2005. I've been doing this 15 years, right? Straight out of high school, never stopped doing math. If I couldn't do this in my sleep, that would be kind of sad at this point, right? Like, it's not that I'm good at it. Like, I had an aptitude, like probably really early on, and then like I got to higher math. I'm definitely like, you have to study it. There's no way around it. You have to do it. You have to get your hands on it. So yeah, that's fixed versus growth mindset. Let me start this up so I actually have a cam. Wow. Okay, so I got that camera connected. The thing about the test. So we have a test next Thursday. We're going to take it during class. So what you're expected to do is you're expected to have a Respondus lockdown browser. You're expected to log in to Blackboard and go to that test that will be under the test section in Blackboard. And Respondus lockdown browser is a little weird. So I have a practice exam that I put up that I was hoping some of you would get through. Not many of you have like attempted it. I think maybe 2 people. The last time I looked. I can look again. Let's see. And one person did it and didn't manage to upload anything. And the other person didn't get their upload it either. So Respondus lockdown browser is kind of a weird thing. You have to take the test in the lockdown browser, and then you exit the browser and do your whole thing with the Genius scan is what I'm thinking of. Some people were talking about it never autofilled the password. So it should autofill the password if you log in through Respondus. But again, we're talking about technology, and that's a should.
Is the test going to be open note?
No, it's a test.
Okay.
And so you shouldn't use any outside resources for the test. And like I said, we're going to take it through Respondus. So you'll have to log in through the Respondus browser into Blackboard. There is a practice test to practice the whole Respondus system. So that is the way, if I were taking the test, that is the way I would want to take the test. If you are having problems with that, I will be in the Zoom classroom during the test time Thursday. And so if you're having problems with that, come log into Zoom, come into the classroom, and then we can talk about what to do from there. But the easiest way, the best way, the preferred way is to do the Respondus lockdown browser. And like I said, I have a practice exam for you to practice it. Did I say? Yeah, so do it in the browser, and then I think you have to log out.
I was able to do this in the browser while I was talking to you. While you were talking, I was able to get in the browser. That's unique.
And get into the practice exam?
Yeah. And then I was thinking, wow, I wonder if you could tell us, explain it while we do some of it. I don't know. I don't know if you can or not, but
the practice exam should be locked out unless you're in Respondus. Maybe you're talking about the quiz.
No, I was able to hear you when I logged into the practice exam.
Were you in Respondus?
Yeah.
Okay. Because Respondus is supposed to lock everything else out.
Oh, really?
Is what it does. It's a lockdown browser. It's supposed to lock down everything else is going to get shut down. Here. It's just going to be like that one Explorer basically open. Okay. So they're trying to get you to not be surfing stuff and looking stuff up, right? During an exam, okay. It's to lock you out of other programs. Oh. And so there's Respondus, lockdown browser, and then there's the monitoring. What is it called? God, I can't think of it. Under course tools. What do they call it? It's Respondus and well, it's not here. There's a thing with the monitoring with the it's all part of the same system. So I don't even know why I'm really going into it. Let's see. There's a monitor webcam setting. Okay. It should be required for the exam. I'm double checking, making sure I have the settings right on this thing, to be honest. I think everything should be okay. You should be able to use an iPad on this.
Oh, they asked for a password. Is the password where it says above enter password? Is that my own password? In the exam? No, you guys aren't on there, but I was just wondering.
It should not be asking for a password.
Really? Okay.
If I mean, I don't know why I'd be
I don't
doing
know.
that. Is it asking for a password? Did it ask for a password? I guess y'all haven't done it yet, huh?
I mean, whenever I did it, I just auto-filled it once I went on to Respondus.
Oh, it's telling me to start Respondus lockdown browser and navigate back to this assessment.
Yep.
Okay, so I see what happened.
Yep.
So now I see I won't be able to talk to you if I go on here.
Nope. Yeah, so you should
Yeah, I won't be able to talk to you while I'm
the Respondus browser should be auto-filling in the password for you. That's like
yeah, so it's telling me to go to the respondent. If I go to the respondent, everybody's gonna go off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay.
And so you have to take it through Respondus. You're going to open it up. You're going to open up the PDF. You can either print out the PDF or you can write out the questions, right? Either way, if you got a printer, you can use your printer. If not, you can always write it stuff out by hand. So,
all right.
You're going to write out the test. And then I believe you exit the Respondus browser and then you do the whole Genius scan and send the test.
Yes.
But I don't think you have to
do the respondent, whatever you call it.
But I don't think you have to be in the lockdown browser to send the test. I think you get out of the lockdown browser and then send the test. But it's a time thing. So as soon as you get out of the lockdown browser, you have to submit your test like within a couple minutes or something. Okay. So they definitely time you and make sure.
So you don't submit it while you at the end of the time when you finish taking it. You have to get out the respondent to submit it.
I believe so.
Oh my God! I hope this goes right.
Yeah, and so you should be able to try that first exam, and hopefully try it a few times. I think I've it multiple times.
All right.
All right. So there's also a quiz up. I hope you looked at the quiz. At least took a glance at it, hopefully. But if not, it is under the quizzes. And so if you go under submitting assignments and you click quiz, there is a quiz one up. That quiz is due by the test.
It's due with the test?
Yeah, it's due by the test, I think is when I have it due. Let me double check my due dates.
All right.
And I did make it available, right? Make it available.
Yeah, I see it.
That's what I was thinking about. That was tomorrow, the quiz.
Oh, no, I'm going to change this date. Oh, 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. That's the test time, huh? I'll make it 12:50. Okay, so I'm got it set for the 8th, 12:50. I like don't do this last minute. Don't do that to yourself. Do it the night before at least.
I'm gonna do it today.
Yeah, I mean we're gonna do it today in class anyway, right? Like why?
I'm gonna do the whole thing today and the quiz and all.
It's not super long. We have time to do it.
Oh my God. Jesus.
Are there any questions over anything we've done? And I've graded the first 2 assignments. I'm in the middle of grading the 3rd assignment. So if you got a grade for your first 2 assignments, they are there. There are a few people, they submitted some stuff and I can't open it. It's not a JPEG. I don't know what it is, but I'm highly suggesting go and use Genius Scan and send it like as one PDF. Like I'm getting like 8 or 10 PDF submissions and I have to click through each one of those things. And it's like, it takes time. It takes a lot more time than just clicking on one thing. Some of you are submitting like 2 things, like you'll submit 1A, 1B, like that is great. There's like 2
Okay.
PDFs I have to open. That is fine. Like I'm not complaining about that.
Okay.
I'm like I don't want to have to open like 8 different PDFs just to grade one assignment. It's just like, it's really time consuming.
Alright.
So I really suggest using the Genius Scan. There's instructions on how to use the Genius Scan on that page for submitting assignments. It is the easiest way to do it. I downloaded it today to see how it works.
So I have to download it?
Yeah, it's on the
It's an
Play-
app?
It's on the Google Store, or it's on, I guess, the iPhone Store, whatever they call it.
So I get it from my phone?
Yeah, it should be free. Someone was saying they have to pay. I'm like, no, you shouldn't have to pay. It's called Genius Scan. There's probably even links in the instructions that are in the instructions for submitting assignments.
Jeez. Okay, so if I was on my computer, where would I go?
So it's mainly for cell phones, because you're going to take a picture and convert
Okay.
that picture to a PDF is what the Genius Scan app does.
My bad.
There's a few people that were like trying to submit things like all typed out, and it's like someone said that the Genius Scan wasn't working for them, and I'm not really sure what to say besides you probably want to figure out some way to get it to work, because it's going to be really hard to submit work typed out in a math class. Just getting math fonts is just really difficult, right? Doing exponents and dividing by stuff and writing that out is not easy.
Genius Scan. Okay, got it.
Are there any questions over anything that we've done so far? Anybody
Yes.
want to complain?
I'm kind of lost in the whole Respondus thing. I'm looking at the homepage right now, and I'm trying to figure out. It's like there's icons at the top says Lockdown Browser, Respondus Monitor, StudyMate Campus, Respondus 4.0, and TestBank Network. I just want to make sure I log into the right area for this thing.
Okay, so the Respondus lockdown browser. It's got multiple options. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult to find the download link for it. I've been looking for that too.
Okay.
If you go to the ACC website, you can find it on there.
You chopped in and out. I couldn't hear what you said.
If you go to the ACC website and put in Respondus browser in the search bar, it goes to a page where it helps you find out everything in the download and how to use it and everything.
So you're saying to search on the ACC website for Respondus?
Yes, and it should have the link on there to download it and everything that will help you with finding it.
It should be. Let me see if I can do this. Share screen. I think it should be this. This should be your preview. Is it not coming up? Materials reservoirs. Huh.
Okay.
Well, that might be part of why it's not. Oh no, it's in its test.
All right, Professor. So
I found it.
I downloaded the app. I took a picture of one of the papers, and I'm just trying to figure out how do I send it to you.
So I'm trying to look at where the Respondus browser is. It should have been. That's weird. I thought there was instructions. I don't know why those instructions aren't coming up.
Oh,
They're not visible to y'all for some reason. Let me see.
I found it. Let's see here.
Test.
You're looking for the download link for it, right?
Yeah, I guess it's not on there. Whew.
I
So,
found
yeah, I
it,
will go to Austin CC. I'm sorry. I thought the instructions were on there. The instructions are in the notes. Oh, I know where they are. The instructions are in the syllabus, and then I believe that's where we can get them.
I posted a link to the ACC page for it.
And so it should be. They have a movie here, and it looks like the download's right here. So it is in the syllabus. I thought I made a post, but maybe I didn't make an announcement. That might have been the other class. I don't know. I teach a few classes. Sometimes I get them mixed up. But they have a video that will walk you through it as well.
If you're watching this,
And they have a download page right here. So if you want.
So Professor, I don't know. Maybe I should show you.
He's
this.
already got it in there, huh?
Can you
In the
see
chat,
that?
right?
This is Genius Scan.
Oh, Catherine also posted it before me.
Golly, I can't even. It's so bright. Can't even see it. Can you see that?
Barely.
All right. So anyway, I just took a picture. I just wanted to know, how do I send it to you?
So you have to go and there's a few ways, but like those instructions are all on the submitting an assignment under the written assignments.
Under written instructions
Under
written
written assignments, it says submitting
Right.
written homework in Blackboard. So just like you submit your homework, you would go back to where the test is in Blackboard. You would submit it where the test is in Blackboard,
Oh,
just like you do your homework.
this is in Blackboard. So I have to go back to Blackboard. Is that
If it's
correct?
on your phone and you want to send it to your computer, a good way to do that is to send it to your email.
Send it to my email.
Yeah, so that's what advice they give you on those notes.
Okay, so it's in the written instructions, all right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's under written assignments, submitting assignments. It's got a little thing that says submitting written homework in Blackboard, and it's got instructions and links to the webpage to do that.
Okay.
All right. This is why I allotted a little bit of extra time today. Figured there's be a few questions. Can you use a scanner on an iPhone to scan and submit homework? You should be able to. But it's got to be in PDF form. Some people are loading some stuff up that was not in PDF form. My computer doesn't recognize what form it's in. I have no clue what form it's in. So I don't know how I'm going to grade that. But
For my 10A and 10B, when I looked at the app, it said that it's still submitting it. And I took an attempt to submit it about 2 hours ago.
yeah, I don't know. Got me on that one. Because I did put in a grade for you. I don't know if it's just like conflicting now because it's past date.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Or 10A, 10B. Yeah. I
Yes.
think I nulled your grade on that one though. It shouldn't have a grade. So if you got a 0 on your homework, even though you did it, there's a good chance that it was in a form I couldn't read. If it's submitted, send me an email with with a PDF of the homework, and I'll grade it. But like I said, there's not a lot I can do if I can't read it.
Because
And
it's still saying it's pending. I don't know if you haven't graded it or like. what's
so
going on.
I've graded 1A, 1B, 1C, and 1D. I have not graded 10A and 10B yet.
No, I'm talking about 1A and 1B.
So if you got a 0 for like 1A and 1B, then there for some reason I couldn't read it. That it was like in some format I couldn't read.
Because like I did it the same way I did 1C and 1D.
All right. Yeah. So
I just like resubmit it or
yeah,
send
just
by
just
email?
shoot me an email with it in there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Like, but like, I know maybe it seems harsh. I'm throwing zeros in there, but like, I got to get y'all to talk to me some way about it, right? And like, I don't intend to like keep them in there if you didn't earn them or didn't deserve them, right? I'm like hesitant to move on. Like, any other questions?
Nope.
Nope, I'm good.
All right. So hopefully we can get the practice test underway, and hopefully you can understand how Respondus works. Anything happens, you can always come. Like I said, we'll be in the classroom during that day. I will be here. You can come into the classroom and we can try to sort things out and try to get you to take the test. But the thing with the test is, like, I have to have a, where am I at? I don't want to move all pins. There we go. I have to have a camera on you when you're taking the test, basically, right? You just can't take a test unmonitored.
So when we take the test with you on Thursday, we'll just open our camera or video up so you can watch us while we're taking the test. Is that all right?
So I want you to try to do it through the Respondus Lockdown browser. So if you do it through the Respondus Lockdown browser, that will require that you have a camera.
Okay.
And it's just kind of a lot easier because it keeps an eye on you, and I don't have to keep an eye on you.
Okay.
And personally, like, if I were taking the test, I would much rather have a robot watch me, right, than sitting there like on their screen. Like,
Yeah.
just personally, like, I would feel a lot less monitored. I don't know if that's
Okay.
right. I would feel a lot more comfortable personally. If
I agree.
you know, I'd feel a lot less like a professor was staring at me. But what it does is it like records your face, and if your face ever gets like off camera or something, right?
I hate that part because I'll be,
Then
looking
it'll show me like
downward.
some snapshots that I can look through to make sure you're like not cheating.
Yeah.
Like, don't. I don't know if I said this, but don't cheat at this level. Like, you're only cheating. It's so stupid to cheat in college, especially at this. Like, you getting so much shit for cheating in college. Like, it is not worth it. It's bad news, and it like sticks on your record, right? And it's like, for what, a test or for a class like this, man, just like come to class, do the work, and you will get through this class. Like, most people, and this not like, it's not everyone, but most people, like, when they don't pass my class or this class, it's because they're not doing the work. Most people that are doing the work, if they're not passing, they're at least getting better at math. I don't know what to say, right? But that's very few people, I feel like. There's a big overlap of people just not doing the work. The formulas, I don't expect you to memorize formulas. There are some things like the area of maybe like a rectangular prism.
Thank you.
Like, they kind of follow from the concept of what an area is, right?
Okay.
Oh, so maybe something like that might be valid, like length times width times height. I hope you can remember something like that. But
yeah, I can remember that.
I don't think.
But that
most part.
And the other part was what was that? Hold on. There's one more. Yeah. Oh, the coin distance, the angler size. Oh my man, that is.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So okay, can I just ask a question on the angler size?
Yeah.
Am I to do like, okay? So if they change the quarter, does it change all the demographs of the equation?
If they change the what now?
If they change the, okay, in other words, I'm just trying to figure out, like, when the question that they asked, when you create a ratio between two things. So in other words, the coins change. So do we do the same thing as we did to find the, what was this? To find the distance? Do we do the same thing with any coin? in the same area? Like, you know, you did a circle in the circle, and then you marked it. That would be the distance between that circle, from the inner circle, the
Yeah,
360.
so you're just creating a ratio between those things. And so they're just comparing angular distance to like the distance around a circle.
That goes for any coin, correct?
Yeah, it's for any object.
Okay, all right.
You're gonna tell the size of an object based on its angular.
Okay, so like if they give some sizes, I would still use the same format, correct? Because they're gonna give different sizes, just like they gave for this quarter.
Yeah, yeah. So it's still the same formula.
Okay. Gee.
Okay.
Hmm.
Can I? Is it? I do that. Y'all probably can be able to read them, huh? Zoom out. So you might. I could also just like open this up in the thing, huh? That'd be the smarter thing to do. If I go to quizzes now, let me share my screen. I think maybe if I just share the screen, that might be easiest for this one. Quizzes. That's not what I want. I want this PDF right here. All right. Can y'all see my screen, hopefully?
Yeah.
There we go. Can y'all read everything now if I do this? Hopefully. You can all see it on one screen.
Looks good to me.
All right.
Yeah, I can
So
see.
I want to give y'all like 5 minutes and just let y'all do some work on your own just for a minute. I don't ever let y'all just do things on your own. For what now? What?
Can you zoom it in a little bit, please?
So if I zoom in, what's it doing? It's not zooming no more. Why are you not zooming? Can I get it all in here? If I zoom in, I don't know if I'm gonna get all the choices. There we go. Is that better? It's just like I want the answer. I have the answer choices down here, and then I have all these up here. I was trying to get everything on the screen all at once. Does that work? That doesn't get quite everything, huh?
Right. So I'm just you want us to do these by ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know what they're asking you for here. Let's see, for each example, match the type of fallacy from.
So I have an example up top. I have 5 different examples. I think there's like six different
Oh, I
choices
see.
to
Okay.
choose from.
Okay. That's a good question.
I think 4 out of the 5 hopefully it should be pretty straightforward. There's one of them that I feel like might be one, might be the other. I'd say it's more one than the other, but if you put either one, I would probably count it, right? Okay, like hopefully it's not taking y'all too long to get to this thing. Well, we lower the drinking age to 18 today, then tomorrow we're going to lower it to 17, the next day is 16, and so on and so on. So what sort of fallacy is that one?
I
put
said,
F, slippery slope.
yeah, I put slippery slope.
Yeah, I would definitely go with slippery slope on that one, right?
Well, I made a mistake then. I put E and F.
I will go with F.
F, okay.
And a little bit about slippery slope. Slippery slope is like, well, if we let this happen, then the other thing will happen, then the other thing will happen, right?
Okay.
It's like, and like a little bit again with like slippery slope, you could like lower the drinking age to 18 and stop right there, right? And so with slippery slope, we assume that things might happen that like aren't necessarily going to happen. That things are going to continue in a certain maybe nature or something. And there's no reason necessarily to assume that they would, right? 18 is a pretty good age for the most part. Most people are considered adult at 18. And so there's some good reason why it might just stop at 18 and not go down to 17, 16, and so on, right?
Shows that 3 people who ate broccoli.
Is that a question? Yeah, comment? No, I don't know. Okay, so that's number 1 should be F. Number 2, that's the one that's a little tricky. I'm going to skip number 2. Number 3, I think, is a little more obvious. Everyone's buying a Yeti cooler. Yeti coolers must be the best cooler ever, or best cooler that money can buy, something like that. Which one is that? That one should be
I said
A.
popularity.
definitely an appeal to popularity, right? Everyone's buying it. Everyone's doing it. Okay, that's definitely the appeal to popularity, right? The bandwagon. 4.
Oh.
Yeah, that's number 3. And
yeah,
number,
I got that right. I thought you were on 2. I missed that.
skip number 2 because that's the one that I said it's a little bit. That one's a little confusing, and it could go either way.
That was a personal attack. I thought she was attacking.
Wait, what was 3 again?
3 would be the appeal to popularity. And so I skipped number 2. I'm going to go back and talk about number 2 after we're done. Because these other ones I think are pretty straightforward, I'm hoping. Number 4 would say a recent study of 10 people shows that 3 people who ate broccoli regularly in their diet did not suffer any heart disease symptoms. Therefore, we're going to conclude that broccoli is the new superfood that can prevent heart disease. So which one would that be?
C.
I heard like 2 different things. I think I heard C in there though.
Yeah, I said C.
I would say it's a hasty generalization, right?
Yeah.
So what about this makes it C? Why would you say C?
Well, because you're stating that right here. That it's because 3 people ate broccoli regularly in their diet wouldn't suffer heart diseases.
There's really 2 words that I'm looking for, right? And that is that we're talking about 10 people and 3 people, right?
Right.
if we're talking about the grand scheme of thing and everyone that suffers from heart disease, is that a big number?
No.
And so this is supposed to be like a hasty generalization, right? We don't have a large number of this thing happening, but we're making a really strong assertment like on like what broccoli is, right?
Yeah.
So I think that the key takeaway, like if it's got like a small number in there, I'm probably doing hasty generalization, right?
Yes.
And again, that's like, oh no, that's a false cause. Never mind. I am the best because I wrote a book titled I Am the Best, which is a book that says I am the best.
B.
That one
E.
is E, circular reasoning.
Circular reasoning. Okay.
Yes. I haven't said anything different. I feel like we lost some of these like in the new edition. Maybe I'm wrong. Did we go over all these?
Yeah.
We did. But I feel like there's like some that they used to have that we don't have anymore, but maybe I'm just making that up. And going back to number 2, Charlie's like, you should stop procrastinating because it negatively affects your grades. D is like, it must not be that bad of a strategy. I've seen you pull all-nighters. So what did y'all say that one was?
Said B.
I barely like heard something there.
Oh, I said B, false.
B, false cause? I could see that.
I put D.
I originally wanted this to be D, I think is what I was going for. It's a personal attack. And let me like maybe explain my reasoning a little bit behind that. So I feel like it's a personal attack because she's saying basically she's arguing the person, not the point, right? Instead of like talking about whether or not procrastinating is actually an effective strategy, she's arguing, well, you did it as a person, right? And so since you did it as a person, then it should be a good thing, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I would also take false cause. I feel like false cause is also justifiable if you justify it the right way, right? I saw him pull an all-nighter and he did well, therefore I can pull an all-nighter and I can do well, right? That would also be like a valid way to do it. So what I'm trying to say is probably I need to write my questions a little more clearly, but okay, so let me throw this up here. And so just in case you're like going through the video, you can always go back and pause the video or something. But going through, oh, you already answered. 1 was F, 2, I said D or B, 3 was A, 4 was C, 5 was E. Questions about this? Are we getting this? Is it making some sense, hopefully?
Yes.
It's not like we're out in space or something, hopefully.
No.
All right. So we want to complete the truth tables. We have P and Q. So I'm going to go ahead and fill these out. There's a certain way you should probably fill these out. Multiple ways you can fill these out. This is probably the prettiest. I reject my opinion. True, 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 false, false, true, false, false. And so we talked a little bit about this, but we want every sort of like combinations of falses for our P's and Q's. So hopefully we can get that down. I want to give y'all just a few minutes to think through these. Oh man, I didn't talk about that, did I? Hope the knots aren't the ones that they're tripping you up. Did they ever make y'all write the math theorems? I remember doing that in like starting to do that in geometry when we took geometry. Made you write the if and only if statements. Do you remember those things? A little bit. Those things have meaning. They have meaning. I guess I can do that. Okay, let's do not Q. The first not Q should be what?
False.
False. The next one is
True.
true. The next one
True.
False.
false. And the next one is
True.
opposite of Q. So hopefully, like I give you a not thing, a not statement,
Oh shoot.
you can wrap that up in a bow and tie it, right? It's whatever the Q is, it's the other thing.
The Q is the other thing.
And now you got to remember what an or statement looks like, right? Okay. So now we're looking at, this is what I would do. We're looking at P or not Q. So if I have a true or a false, do you remember what the or statement does?
It's false.
That would be like that would be an and. If it was an and statement, I'll give it to you.
No, is the first.
Yeah, this is 50-50, I guess, right? If it's not false, then it's got to be true. But if there's one true, overall it's true, right? That was the or.
I got that right.
It only takes one true thing to make it true. And so hopefully this makes a little more sense now. If we have one true, it's overall true. If they're both true, then overall it's going to be
True.
true. And so this was versus exclusive or, it would be different on that one, but we only do the inclusive or in math, basically, or in logic, right? They only talk about inclusive or for the most part. And if we talk about the other one, we'll specifically say exclusive or something, right? But a lot of talking, but false is going to give me what?
False.
This is the one that will give you false. One true right here. It'll give you true.
It'll give you false. The last one is true because one was true. Oh, shit. This is something else. Okay, so the next one.
Okay. Similar here, not P. What is that not P column going to look like? Just give it to me all at once.
FFTT.
Yep, false.
FFTT. FFTF. Oh.
FFTT. It's going off of this one, the exact opposite of this first one.
Oh, okay. Opposite. Okay.
And then we got to think about the if-then conditional statement. And so I'm just going to throw this up there. This is what it looked like previously, right? If we had P's and Q's, if we had an if P then Q statement, it was true most of the time, right? So the thing to focus on is probably this line right here. It's only false if we start with a true and we end in a false. So if I'm looking at that, I'm looking for the true followed by a false. So I'm starting with not P and then I'm going, sorry. I'm starting with not P, then Q. So where is my false going to go over here? Which line? First, second, third, or last?
The first one?
If it was if P then not Q, then you'd be correct, right? But we got to start with this one first. And then this one. So it should be the last line. So if not P, then Q, this would be the if true, then false. Do you see that? And so I could try to maybe figure out everything else. This would be the if true, then true. This one would be the true. These would be the two vacuously true statements. They're starting off with a false statement.
Okay, so I understand that. False.
Did I show you all the little arrow thing before? Or is that the first time I introduced the arrow?
To me, it's the first time.
Okay, it might be. I may not have drawn the arrow. But if I say if P then Q, one of the shorthand notations is just to put P arrow Q. Okay. So I'm gonna go on a little bit of a tangent now, but like this.
So what do you use for not? What do you use for not? Is it what F not P then Q?
What
like
are you talking about?
Like it's written. Well, you just said excuse me, P and the arrow and a Q. So if it's a not, what do you use? How do you symbolize it?
So if it's a not, I didn't do that. This is just an if P then Q statement.
Oh, okay.
Not is looking something like not Q. Sometimes they do a little line with a little down minus, got a little down spigot right there.
Okay.
I think it really just depends upon your book sometimes and what symbol they use. But those are some common ones. It's like a little tilde or a little not sign in front of there. Looks almost like a subtraction sign. But if we have P then Q, and I didn't ask you this, but this means if P then Q. talk about it, this is one of the so if I say P only, that gives me the other way. But if I put them together, I have an if and only if statement. So if I go P and Q, if I do this and I put them together with an and statement, together with an and statement, I can do it just with two arrows drawn between them. This is called a dividing condition. And a little bit like about what his truth table looks like. It looks like this. So if they're both true, then it's true. If they're both false, then it's true. So it only matches up if these two propositions match up. So this is actually a way in how we define things. So if you remember those if and only if statements, if you've ever had to write your like math theorems out, if you've ever had one of those crazy math professors that made you do that, they were saying that to define things, right? If and only if, that's what it means. We're doing if statements, right? If is one way, the only if is going the other way. So if you can go one way and you can go the other way, it means your truths are matching up or your falsehoods are matching up. It means they're basically the same statement, right? It's a definition. So that's a little bit tangential, but that is how we actually define things, is with sort of like if statements, right? Huh. Now we got a few Venn diagrams. Whew. Some of you were getting this correct. Some of you, I'm not sure what you're doing, but I think maybe you're just reading the whole thing at one time and then it gets intimidating or something. Do it one step at a time. If an animal is a cat, then it is feline. Garfield is a cat. Let me move it up. We can do two of them at once then. So I want to give you a few minutes to get through this. Try to make an honest attempt on your own. And so far, what we've had in this class, for the most part, we've been working through book work. And so like this quiz, it's to kind of wrap up the section, to kind of get you prepared for the test, but it's also to get you like some of my word problems out there, right? To get you used to like what my sort of math problems might look like. Mind your P's and your Q's.
Okay, so okay, that's true. That's true. Garfield is not a feline. That's true.
So if you see an if then statement, what should like this first sort of thing like pop in your head? Would they with regards to like a Venn diagram, what should the Venn diagram look like? Remember we had something, does it look like a subset disjoint sets, or does it look like two overlapping sets? I think were the three pictures we had.
It's a circle inside a circle.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, circle and circle, that's a subset.
No, like a circle inside a circle.
Yeah, that's it, subset. That was our subset picture, right?
Oh.
Yeah, that's it.
So I put the circle, the inner circle is the cat, and I put the outer circle as the, the outside of it is the feline.
Yeah, that's it. If P, then Q. So my P is cat.
And then Garfield is an X somewhere. Is it between the cat and feline there circle or outside the feline? Because he's not a feline.
Garfield is a cat.
So it's inside the cat, but he's not a feline.
Inside the cat.
It's inside.
We're putting it inside the cat.
Because he's a cat.
That's what it says.
Okay.
Take it one step at a time.
Okay, got it.
The first thing I said is if an animal is a cat, if animal is a cat, then it is a feline. So
Right.
that is everything I have in black ink.
Right.
Garfield as a cat is what I'm doing with an X, right?
Okay.
So take this one step at a time. Don't try to do it all at once.
All right.
Garfield is a cat. I put my X in the cat circle. Therefore, now read what are they concluding? Garfield is a feline. Is that like necessary from the picture we drew? If I put my X here, is that X going to also be in feline is what they're asking.
No. Yeah, Garfield is not a no, it's saying Garfield is a feline. No.
So is this X in the feline circle is what they're asking.
Yeah.
It is in the feline circle. And so can we make that conclusion?
Yes.
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 Excellent.
So if we put the X in the cat circle, it is forced to be in that feline circle, right?
Okay.
There's no way around it.
Got it.
And so sort of like we talked about this, but like this is like kind of the advantage like deductive logic has over like inductive, right? Like there's no way around Garfield being a feline, right? He has to be a feline from the way we drew this picture. Inductive things, we can always have those black swans that come along and run everything, right? Those counter examples to our universal claims. So, first thing you see in the statement. This should be the you see an if-then statement, do the subsets. What goes inside the smaller circle?
I put headache.
And the smaller one?
Yes.
It should be in the form if P then Q. Right?
No, bang.
Yeah, it should be the first thing goes inside the inner circle. So they like cut out. It was like totally digitized robot speak for a second there. But I heard it. It was there.
I'm sorry. I said bang your head.
You're coming in and out, but I understood it that time. It sounds pretty great, actually. That's bang your head. And if you bang your head, then it goes on the outside here. As the other sentence that is there. Your cues. Oh man, and so many people, they swapped that when they did draw the diagram. So a lot of people are doing that, so I'm glad you said that. But the P is in the inside, the Q is in the outside. You have a headache. So this is where my X is going. So where does my X have to go? Where is that telling me to put it?
Would it be on the border?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going inside headache. And so the question we have to ask ourselves, are we banging our head? Do we know?
No.
Yeah, we don't know that. So if we don't know, we're putting it on the border. And if we put it on the border, we just said we don't know. So then they're concluding you must have banged your head against the wall. Is that going to be a valid conclusion?
No.
Not valid, right? I think these make sense. I think there's sound logic for the most part, right? If an animal is a cat, then it is feline. Garfield's a cat. Therefore, he's also going to be a feline, right? So I think these are also sound, so it might actually make some sense if we think about reality with these ones. This one too, right? If you bang your head against the wall, then you'll have a headache. You have a headache. Well, you probably do because you're in this class, but you didn't bang your head against the wall repeatedly, right? Okay. So there are other things that could give you a headache, right? Is what we could get at. So assuming Q doesn't ever do anything, right? That's another way to think about it. If we assume Q is not true, then we can get P is not true, but that's something different. Oh, this one's a little bit different. I guess I tried to do something besides an if-then statement. No cats are lizards. So this is telling me the way my Venn diagram should look. So this is a little bit different than those previous. So how am I drawing my Venn diagram?
Separate circles.
They are separate circles. They are disjoint circles. No cats are lizards. So if they fill out themselves, two things I'm talking about. Cats and lizards. Garfield is a cat. It's telling me to put an X where?
In the cat circle.
Yeah, and if we put an X in the cat circles, is it guaranteed that that's not going to be in the lizard circle?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is valid. So we didn't really talk about this one, and I guess I threw this one. kind of out at you last minute here. But that's another valid way to interpret things. If they are disjoint sets and it is a member of one set, it's not going to be a member of the other. So I think we went over the if-thens pretty extensively. But this is one of those things, if you know how to draw your Venn diagrams, if you know how to read your Venn diagrams, right? Hopefully your Venn diagram will tell you. Okay.
Oh, this one.
So we had something previously like this in our like notes, right? Or in our homework.
Yeah.
How much trim would you have to buy to go around the outside of the falling window, and how much glass would be required to replace the window? So if I want to know how much trim, what is that asking?
The perimeter?
Yeah, they're asking for perimeter. They'll be asking for what? That would be the area, right? So we have a 2D object. I can basically ask you for perimeter and area of the thing. If I want to know perimeter, what do I have to find?
The circle.
Yeah, I gotta find the perimeter of the circle. The perimeter of the circle is also known as
That's the radius.
that would be the radius. Yeah, yes. But the perimeter of the circle would be the what is that called? Am I asking a weird question? What is that thing around the circle called?
Circumference.
Circumference, that's it. Diameter?
Was 2 pi r, or you could say pi d, right? And so if I'm setting this up, if I want to go around the circle, what's going to be the circumference on that circle?
Mm, 2 pi 2.
2 pi 2, yeah. 2 times pi times 2. And so that gives me the circle. So that is giving me, let's highlight it maybe. That gives me the circumference of the circle. What do I still need to find? I still need to go around where? Right here and right here.
Is it 9 plus 9?
Yeah, it's 9 plus 9. Plus 9 plus 9. This is where I'm getting that from. Does everyone see where I'm getting this trim from? So this is the circumference of the circle. This is going to get you around the circle. We still need to get around this straightaway, which is going 9 feet. And so this is 2 times 2. This is what, 4 pi?
That's 4 pi.
So we estimate this is what, 4 times 3.14 plus 18.
Right. And that's 30.56.
30.6.
Yep, 30.56.
30.56, I meant to say.
Yeah. Okay, so we don't count
someone,
do we round off?
So in this one, you don't really need to round off. It gives you 2 decimal places. And someone already said it. This is feet that we're talking about. We're walking around. We're walking a single dimension straight for it, right?
Yeah.
Just it's a length around. That's my
Get hold of that. Jeez.
What about my area now? I think it's the perimeter trim. No.
Professor, I have a question about the perimeter.
Uh-huh.
Where did we leave off the 4?
Are you talking about this thing right here?
No, for the 9 plus 9.
Uh-huh.
How did you get where did we leave off the 4s for the perimeter?
Oh, going up and down here? So they were just talking about going around the outside of the object.
Oh, okay. Okay. Understood. Thank you.
But I can see like why yeah, and some people did that when I gave them this problem. I didn't like really specify that this little line here wasn't trim, right? And so if you saw that line as being trim and you added that line into there, that's okay. Like, I mean, you understand the problem, right?
Yes.
It's like I misinterpreted like the stupid little diagram I got. That's fine. That's my perimeter. Now I want to think about area.
I can't believe I got that right. Unbelievable. I can't believe it. I don't know what I did, but it's all good.
And so if I'm thinking about area of this thing, but I basically have one circle that I'm thinking about with the radius of what, 2? And I have this thing that looks like a 9x4 sort of rectangle happening here, right?
So I did 2 pi times 2. That make it 4 pi, correct?
So area is pi r squared when we're talking about a circle, or if we're talking about a rectangle. So these are things you should know, right? I'm hoping length times width is the area of a rectangle. So you should know like these basic area of a 2D shape. I feel like these are fair game. Once we get to like surface area and volumes, I'm going to like start giving you those things. Like I don't expect you to memorize those. Math isn't a memorization game. I don't know. It's a reasoning based approach. So I need to fill some things in for my areas. Here I have pi r squared, so this looks like what, pi? 2 squared, and this looks like area is length times width. This is what, 4 by 9. I could have picked a better number than 2. I don't know why I did that. 2 squared is going to be what, 4 pi? Nine times 4 is going to give me 36. I guess that's could have went like A1, A2 or something, right? Find the area of the first, find the area of the second. And once we have the areas, what do?
We add them together.
12.566. That's all right. So
4 times 3.14, and I want to add what, 36 to this?
By the pi. So that's 4 twice. I mean 2 twice. That's 4. And 8 equals
48.56.
Yep, that's what I'm getting. And
that's what I got. Oh, you got 48? Oh my god.
square feet. Which is feet.
Oh, I know what I didn't do. My bad.
Mm-hmm. Is everyone getting this, hopefully? Any questions about this? I'm hoping it's getting down. Can't say I didn't warn you. I don't know what else to say on that one. Did I go too fast? Did y'all get this? I guess y'all can always go back and look at the video too. Huh? Worst case scenario. Videos always good. Party. P-A-R-T-E. Okay, never mind. It's a party. Do you know that? It's a math party. Anyway, horrible puns aside, find the volume of a cylinder. So the volume of a cylinder, that one's actually not too hard. Taking the area of a circle pi r squared. We take an area and we stretch it another. It's like one of those extrusion things. You know, like when you have the Play-Doh and you like put it in a little thing and like you squeeze it and it squeezes out of the thing in that shape. And then you laugh because it looks like poo coming out, you know, whatever. But pi r squared H is what the volume of a cylinder was. And basically what we're doing is we're taking the area of the circle and we're stretching it another dimension to get those cubes, right? So volume equals pi r squared H. My volume is going to be pi. My r here is what?
3.14.
So pi is 3.14. My r here is
18.
It's a little bit of crunching. What is it? 6 times 6 is going to give me 36. So it's like pi times 36. 36 times 18 is going to give me what? 648?
48. That's
I have to figure out what 648 times is. Times 3.14.
698. 648 times.
Should be giving me what? 2034.72, I think is what it should give you.
You said, what did you do at, what was the answer you got?
2034.72.
Okay, I got 2035.75. What did I do wrong?
It should be 648 times 3.14.
Oh, times. That's what it is.
And if we do that, you'll get most credit for that. But what am I missing here?
Square feet.
Feet cubed.
The volume will be cubed.
Oh, there it is. 2034.72. Is that correct? Yeah.
2034.72. Yep.
So you had to multiply the 648 by the pi. I forgot to do that. I just kept it 648 and moved. Okay.
Okay. So
yeah.
This is that thing where we're talking about cubic feet with volume. So again, perimeter is just single feet. Area will be square feet. Volume will be cubic feet.
You said which one is square feet? I'm sorry, sir.
Square feet is area, right?
The area.
We're taking an area measurement. It'll be in square feet.
Okay.
Okay, so now they're talking about this. The formula for the surface area of a right circular cylinder is this thing. So they're giving us the surface area. And so what they did is they took a cylinder and they cut it in half. So we're like cutting the cylinder down the side of the wall, if that makes sense. We're like cutting the cylinder down. So this is sort of like if we were to wrap this thing back up. We would wrap it up around these circles, right? These circles would be like the end of the cylinder. This would be like the thing going between the circles. So this is kind of one of those sorts of like conceptual, can you understand the formula? I'm not expecting you to memorize the formula, but if I were to give you this formula, could you describe like where these pieces are coming from? So the first thing I talk about is this 2 pi r squared. So we can think about it as a pi r squared plus a pi r squared. So where is that coming from?
The circle.
Those are
That's
the two
coming from the
circles.
circles. Yeah. So this is going to be a pi r squared. Do the area of pi r squared. So I think that one is probably the easier one to get. Where are they getting the other piece? 2 pi r, and then we have an h. Well, this is going to be the height. I'll give you that much, right? And if that's the height, where are they getting this? It's the harder one to see, probably.
Is that the? I don't know.
We know altogether it's going to be 2 pi r h, right? That makes sense.
Yes.
So if this is a rectangle, you could probably use like the power of deduction, right? Maybe this times this is going to give you this. So what would this have been?
The length.
It's going to be what? The thing there that's not h, which is my 2 pi r. Where are they getting 2 pi r from?
Is that?
That's the circumference, right? And I kind of talked about this. I can roll this around that circle, right? So this is just your circumference of your circle by your height. That's where they're getting that area from. Doing the area of this thing plus the area of this thing plus the area of this thing to get all the total area. So those are the 3 faces of a cylinder. Can y'all hear that? Do y'all hear little puppy barks? My dog doesn't sound like when she's sleeping. It almost sounds like balloon popping. Like I don't know how to explain it. It's very faint, but it almost sounds like balloons popping. Okay, so this guy, we got one last problem to do today. And so if I don't know, I want to tell you, like, if you know how to do this quiz, like I feel like studying the quiz is a pretty good way to prepare for the test. If you do well on the quiz and if you feel like you're understanding the quiz, then I would go for the quiz. If not, yeah, then I would look over whatever is confusing you on the quiz, basically. This one's a little tricky. You want to write ratios to find the missing sides. And there are a few ways to do it. And they do say given that they're right triangles. Anybody have suggestions on what I might write?
Would you do A divided by B?
A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. Then once you find the C squared, you throw it into the other triangle.
Oh, okay. So I think I heard a few different things. What was the first thing you were saying? You said something about compare A to B and then do what to what?
And then compare A to the little ones. You compare 15 divided by B, and then you cross multiplier. I don't remember, but something like that.
Okay, I heard 2 different things, so let's go at it. If I go A to B, that's what, 6 to 8? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
And I want to compare that, so I'm going to do it, but I'm throwing an equal sign, right? I'm comparing this to. You cut out really bad right there. But we're going, okay, so we're going from A to B to A prime to B prime is what these things are. They just have a little like apostrophe on there, right? So that's called a prime, I guess. And we want to do this to our B prime thing. And so that would help us find B prime. We got, what, 3 different things to find here. So we need to know C, we need to know C prime, and we need to know B prime. So this will get us our B prime, and there are a few ways to do this. We could try to figure out common denominators, but the easiest way is you can do that sort of butterfly thing. And if we do that, 6 times B prime, 8 times 15.
$120.
Yep. B prime is going to be equal to 120. And B prime will be equal to. So what do we have to do?
Divide by 6.
Divide by 6 will give me
20.
20. Okay, so we got B prime. Someone told me how to find C, but if this is a right triangle, I know what A squared plus B squared equals C squared then. So if I do what 6 squared plus 8 squared, should give me whatever the heck C squared is. So that should give me what, 36 plus 48. Sorry, 36 plus 64 should be C squared. So I think this one might be an even one. 100 is C squared. So if C squared is 100, what is C going to be?
10.
Yeah, 10. Yep. All right, so C is equal to 10. We got B prime is equal to 20. And there are a few ways you can do this last one. We can do what, Pythagorean theorem. We can set up another ratio. So what do y'all prefer to do, I guess is the question. These are not drawn to scale at all, are they? The smaller one is bigger and the bigger one's smaller, but I don't have my units on there, so technically they could be different units, right? I could be talking about inches versus feet, who knows?
Yeah, Professor, I got lost at 120.
What was that?
No, I got lost at 120. When I got to 120, I was wondering, because we had to do 6B, and so it's 6B.
So we're dividing by 6.
Divided 6 by 20 or 6 by 6.
Dividing 120 by 6 will get you.
That's what oh God, that's what I want. Okay, I understand now.
So how am I going to set up this last one? There's 2 ways. I kind of already said it. One of the ways is to do Pythagorean. What would the Pythagorean with this one look like?
15 squared plus 20 squared equals C squared.
And so if I want to do that to find C, I can set it up that way to find C. Another way I can do what, A to A prime, 6 to 15 could equal what, 10 to C prime would be another way that I could set this up. I think either way you solve it, you should be getting the same thing. Woo! Don't knock that down. Okay, so if we do it this way, 15 squared is what? 225. Plus 20 squared would be what? 400 would be c squared.
I got 625. Is that right?
C squared would be 625.
Oh God, I got that right. Unbelievable.
So we still need to do what to that?
Minimize it.
Square root it.
Yeah, so you have to take a square root of this. So I'm running into this problem solving right. But this is c is equal to, or c prime is equal to, I didn't put my prime on this guy. He should have prime on there. 15. The other way, if I compare 6 to 15 and 10 to c prime, you can write equivalent ratios if you don't want to do Pythagorean again. This is going to be what? 6c prime is going to be what? 150. And hopefully I just set these things up. But 150 divided by 6. What am I getting? 25.
25.
Did I do that right? It's 25.
25. I got 25.
No one called me out on that. What was? Are y'all asleep? What's happening?
No, I got 25.
Right. Yeah, I was off. My bad. The c prime is equal to 25. I don't know how to take square roots on my calculator anymore, apparently.
Oh my God. Yeah, I got 25.
There we go.
Hey.
Either way you solve it, you should get 25. And maybe if you're on a test, hey, that's probably a good lesson to learn right there, right?
Yeah.
Solve it multiple ways and make sure you're getting the same number. If you can, if you got time, right? I guess it's a time thing too, huh? Are there any questions about this one, about how to set up equivalent ratios between two similar triangles? So if you know how to set up two equivalent ratios and you know how to do Pythagorean theorem, I think that's the two things to take away from this last one. With that said, I think that's probably enough math for today. I got to finish grading up y'all's 10A and 10B. And so I owe you
question
that.
over the test.
What was that again?
I've got a question over the test.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Will the formulas be there for us, or are we expected to memorize all these formulas?
So like I said, the surface area and volumes ones, I will give you the surface area or the volume of something if I ask for that. Maybe unless I ask you for a rectangle prism or something. But if I'm going to ask you for like a surface area or volume of a sphere or a cylinder, right? Or those are the difficult things, I think. I would not expect you to memorize formulas for the most part. So I would give you like volume of a sphere. I would give you surface area of a sphere. I would give you volume of a cylinder or surface area of a cylinder. So I'm not trying to get you to memorize formulas, if that's what the question is. But you should also know how to do area of things. You should know how to do area of two-dimensional figures. You should know how to do area of a rectangle for sure. You should know how to do area of a circle. So things like circumference of a circle, area of a rectangle, those are all sort of things that I would like maybe commit to memory if you haven't already. But I think most people, if I ask them, I think most people probably know those. But maybe I'm being presumptuous. I think most people, if I ask them area of a circle, they just like in their sleep, they're going to tell me pi r squared, right?
Yeah.
Pi r squared. Like people even know that without even knowing anything about it. They're just like, I don't know what that means, but I know it's pi r squared. Circumference is the diameter to your perimeter, right? Or is a comparison of that with pi. Did that answer your question, hopefully?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
Where do we
Nope.
submit the quiz?
Where do you do what with the quiz? What?
Submit the quiz?
You should be able to submit the quiz in that same thing that you're pulling the PDF off of.
Oh, it only has the homework up.
So if you go to quiz, like
Oh, I
submitting
see it now. I'm sorry.
assignments, and it says like quizzes, you can click on the little quiz 1 PDF, but if you click up on the little thing that says just quiz 1, you should be able to like browse your computer and attach a file then.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
It's just like you do with your homework, except I actually put like the PDF up on there for you to retrieve it from. This is the only difference, is like the actual assignments on there. Yeah, is that right? That's a good boy.
Yeah. As soon as I log off, I'm gonna take him out.
Yeah. Okay. So that's pretty much all the class time, ain't it? I think it was in that 2:35, didn't it? Am I wrong? If y'all don't have any questions, I would go try to take that thing right quick. If you want to go take that thing, I'll stick around for like 7 more minutes. Just did is the practice for the quiz. What we just did was the quiz.
So on my quiz answers, the apostrophes to indicate the for on a F, some of them look like I wrote like A squared, B squared, and C squared, but those are supposed to be apostrophes. I guess it would be obvious from the context, right?
Yeah, probably. Be careful. I mean, if you're already noticing that like you're gonna make a mistake on that, then don't do that to yourself. I don't know. Set yourself up for success, not failure, right?
No, I already uploaded it. That's why I'm noticing it. And I'm noticing it on the PDF that I uploaded.
Yeah, I mean, I think as long as you're doing correct work, it's usually really easy to see that you're doing correct work.
Yeah.
That's what I really love is like when y'all just get everything right, it's so easy to grade. It's when y'all start getting stuff wrong. If y'all could just get stuff right all the time, that'd be great.
What did you say the lockdown password was?
There should not be a lockdown password. If you go through Respondus browser, it should automatically fill it out for you. Can you use your calculator during the test? So if you go to the Respondus lockdown browser, it should have a built-in calculator in the lockdown browser. But yes, you can also use pretty much whatever sort of calculator you have, just not your phone, right?
We can write down notes and all that as we're taking the test, right?
Yes, but don't start with any notes. They're gonna take a picture before you start and stuff. Okay. Your desk should be clean. It should just be like you're taking a test, like in a classroom. And like I'm hoping you pretend just like that. You clean everything off. You don't have any sort of resources. So hopefully it works the same, right?
And then for the test, we go immediately to lockdown. We log in, and if we're not having success, then just come to the classroom and.
Yeah, and then we'll shoot things from there, troubleshoot from there.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And no one asked how long the test is gonna be. It's about the same length as this quiz, probably. I would imagine, pretty close. So this class is a pretty long class, so I feel like you're getting a lot of time on the test.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Sure.
And one last question. If we finish class before the actual class, I mean, if we finish the test before the class is over? I mean, do we just come to the classroom and hang out, or?
No, that's just it. If we're
That's
just
it.
taking a test that day. Yeah. So if you get done with the test, you're done with what you need for the class for the day.
Cool.
That's all we're doing. Yeah. I'm not going to try to teach something on top of taking a test. You know how many people are going to listen to me after that? Not a good success rate there, probably.
Professor.
Yeah.
So I just emailed you my 1A and 1B homework.
All right.
Okay. I'm just letting you know.
I'll double check, make sure it's there if you want.
All right, Professor, are we done?
All right. Yeah, that's it.
All right, so I'm gonna do the exam right now. I can do the exam the practice exam, and then wait for the exam with you guys on the next next class, correct?
You're doing what now? You should do the practice exam and make sure you can get in through the lockdown browser, right? Is what the practice exam is for? He left. Okay. Yeah, I got your assignment. I don't.
You got both of them?
Yeah, 1A, 1B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
I'm having trouble getting into the practice test.
Are you in the lockdown browser?
Yes.
What is it telling you?
It's saying for a user ID and password.
So you went to the lockdown browser and then you logged in using your name and password into Blackboard?
Yes.
And it's asking for, let's see. Oh, let's see what it looks like from my end. Yeah, I don't know. It's not showing. I don't know. And what'd you say? It's asking for your username and password?
Yes. I'm gonna log in again and see if I maybe just typed it in wrong.
Yeah, I maybe put your username and password in there for like Blackboard and for your ACC e-online or whatever they call it, your EID.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe try putting that in because I don't know. It shouldn't be asking you for anything like specific for the test. I'm not sure. Also, part of the problem is that like I haven't taken the test from y'all.